We are going to change the culture, the mindset, the expectation level, and improve the brand of Indiana Hoosier football.
I remember that clip. That was the clip that we had in our original Six Inside opener way back in the day before we went live, back when we were on Spotify, before we started this whole live stream thing. We're undefeated on live streams, by the way, since we started getting on StreamYard. So it's almost like we have to keep going with it. We can talk, we're as much as we want to talk, future and stuff like that. I think it's important that we just acknowledge like the present right now. We're coming off a national title right now. I don't know if we have this fight song, right? Never daunted, we will not falter. Through the battle, we're tried and true. And I don't know if this team exemplified that more than in that Miami game. That was the most stressful watch of all time. Miami had us on the ropes, and they got it done anyways, because they're a special group of kids that, as talented as they are, their intangibles are through the roof. We talk about with Gladstone and his whole philosophy of the Jags, like intangibly rich, right? This team is so intangibly rich, top to bottom, and that is why they won the national title. These things, I want to stand here and say, oh, once we get the 4 and 5 stars, we're going to continue winning through the portal, and we're going to win every national title from here on out. As much as I would love to say that, that's just not the reality, which is why we got to enjoy this team, this moment right now. Because you don't know when something like this is going to come around again.
I'll stop you here because nothing like this will ever come around again. And I was trying to put a theme on what this team is, because we hear so much about like the sum of the parts or the sum of the whole is greater than the parts and the things like that. But if you look at some of the individual greatness on this football team, like D'Angelo Pons and Aiden Fisher, and the way Mikal Kamara played in this game, and the way Charlie Becker played, and the way Fernando Mendoza, who can't even say enough good words about him.
Helmet stickers are out the window this game.
It's like you look at the way these guys all came together as a team, and you look at the individual talent, and it's like you said, helmet stickers have to be out the window for this one, because like this was movie-esque. Like this, you couldn't script it any better. Right down to Fernando taking a QB draw on 4th and 4.
God, for all the glory.
Running through Basante or whatever the hell his name is, who's the dude who cracked him last year for the targeting call that wasn't in the Cal game, where Cal should have went and beat Miami last year, ran through his ass and dives into the end zone. It's like, even that was straight up out of a movie. Like all the dudes were, Fernando's bleeding after the first or second offensive drive. Coogan's bleeding and all cut up after the game. Kaylon Black was bleeding after the game. Like this was true, like left it all out on the field type. I'm still struggling to have the words for it, but it's like, no, we will literally never see anything like this ever again.
Never again. Like we could talk about, like, it's safe to assume that we'll be contending for titles from here on out, and could very likely get a second one, and maybe a third and a fourth, and not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, in essence of LeBron. But yeah, this team is the first, and they will forever be the most special group to do it. Do the absolute impossible, which is take the bottom of the barrel Power 4 program and Power 5, Power 4, whatever you want to call it, and go not just to the playoff, not just win a playoff game, which is what like our realistic expectations were going into the year. It's like, okay, like trajectory wise, we win that, we go to the playoff, and the next year it's like a successful season would be winning a playoff game, right? Like getting that to the next level, right? But no, they take it even a step further. They click fast forward button on the whole thing and go all the way, because it's just a special group. There's just so many guys He's called the Mendoza brothers, both of them. Grant Wilson, being in that quarterback room, being that preparation guy for the team. He's back next year. Hemby Black, Kobe Martin, Lee Beebe, who got hurt during the year. Like this team, what's crazy about this whole run is that they did this and like injury bug was killing this team. Bryson Bonds, Kellen Wyatt, Stephen Daly, Lee Beebe Jr. I mean,
Tyler Morris, who we didn't even get to see play.
Tyler Morris didn't even play a snap all year. I mean, this team was able to overcome all of that.
Evans missed time. Coop missed
coming
game.
back. Yeah, coming back.
Surratt missed games. Fisher missed a game.
EJ Williams had the ankle thing. I mean, it was just crazy. We could just break this down quarter by quarter. Like first quarter, it ends 3-0. You know, we get out there. Miami moves the ball a little bit, you know, as they should. And we're able to stop them, get a stop.
It was kind of funny that it felt like every time Miami ran stretch to the right, that whether or not they were holding Fisher, which it looked like they were all game, they were getting positive yards. And like the first 2 plays of the game, Miami goes 9-yard rush, like pass for a first down. And you're like, oh boy. And then it was essentially a slightly longer 3 and out. And like when Indiana gets the ball back and they're driving down the field, like the physicality was apparent in this football game. And like Jacoby Thomas right away sets the tone. Like Fernando goes to like fake the run and gets absolutely blasted under the chin strap. And for whatever reason, that's not called targeting. I'm not really sure. There was a bunch of like internet dudes being like, you know, the reason why this isn't targeting is because you actually have to play really hard. I was having this conversation with my younger brother. Like Indiana is a really physical team. Like they play really hard. You don't see shit like that from Indiana. Like that is a dirty hit. I don't care. And I like Jacoby Thomas as a player, but it was like that all game. And the refs, credit to them, let it go on both sides. But they let a lot of shit go, and that was one of them. And that set the tone for the football game. Because I think if this was officiated correctly, I think we get a lot closer to the TCAL line than we actually ended up.
Yeah, I think the big theme in the first quarter was. Obviously, we actually remember I said the key to the game was Miami to actually control because, you know, you give your keys to the game and I give my keys to the game for the opposing team. Like I play devil's advocate. That's how we preview it. And for Miami, like their key was to control the tempo. And they were trying to do it, but we were able to get enough third down stops. Like they were like 0 for 7 on third down going into the fourth quarter or something like that. They might have been 0 for the whole game.
They were 0 for 8 at one point and 1 for 9. And it was the third down that they converted on that kind of broke the game open offensively for them.
Yeah, but what we were able to do is do what Miami was supposed to do to win this game was control the tempo. We come out very obvious. Miami's trying to get their licks in. Sorry. Miami's trying to get their licks in on Mendoza. Sorry, it was a long day yesterday.
I was gonna ask you.
Wait. Let me finish this thought. But in the first quarter, it's very obvious that they were trying to get their licks in on Mendoza, and those were dirty hits. Like you can't tell me otherwise. Legal, maybe. Not eligible for penalty, maybe. They were dirty hits, and it was very clear what they were doing, and they were trying to like get Mendoza to bleed, like he's human, like he can bleed, like type deal. Like he's not this insane alien that's going to throw. 3 incompletions, 5 touchdowns every game. And that's the reality. He is human. A special human, but human nonetheless. And yeah, it was super obvious that that's what they're trying to do early on. It settled down later in the game because I think, Signetti was all over it with the refs. I think, it didn't happen again, so it wasn't needed to be called, but happened twice in the first quarter. But in the meantime, they were trying all that chicken shit. And meanwhile, Indiana's controlling the clock. With a 12-play, 55-yard, 6-minute field goal drive in the first quarter to really just set the tone and take all that tick, 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 and take it to Miami in the sense that we're gonna control the tempo, we're gonna control the clock, and that's what really won us the game in the end. Was our ability to control the clock. And because Miami, they gave us their best shot. Mark Fletcher ended with a $120. Malachi Tony ended with a $110. They were able to do what they needed. Bain and Mesidor combined for 3 sacks. Like, if you told me going into this game,
Brad, your connection, I don't know if it's me or if it's chat. You'll have to let me know. Shout out to Scott for the super chat. So this shit doesn't seem real. Really remember when we were going to be happy with 9-3. This is awesome. That's the truth. That really is the truth. I have no idea what's going on with Brad's connection. You back, Brad?
Is it me?
No, you're good. I think you're good.
Okay. Anyways, we were able to control the tempo despite them trying to get their dirty hits in, and that is the reason. Like, if you told me before the game, my Bain and Mesidor combined for 3 sacks, check for Miami. Malachi Tony gets a $110, and Mark Fletcher gets a $120 on the ground, I'd be squeamish. I would think Miami might have won that game if you told me that before. And then to counter that with the fact that we only had 317 total yards, they outgained us in the game in yardage. They outgained us.
Well, Brad,
it was like going into that final Miami drive, but they outgained us in yardage that game. We still won.
Well, I was gonna say, like you said, you give your keys, I give my keys. Key number one for me, and far and away, was protect the football. And if you look at the way Indiana played throughout the entire playoffs, I don't think they turned the ball over once. What was ultimately the difference in this football game is Fernando Mendoza, regardless of how many times he was getting hit, did not turn the football over. And then you look at the decisions that were or weren't made by Miami. Curt Cignetti decides to roll the dice multiple times on 4th down. Miami decides on 4th and 2 in opposing territory not to go for it, decides to kick a field goal and doinks a 50-yarder. That's the difference in the football game right there. Like, it's the fact that regardless of how physical and how dirty Miami tried to make the game, that Fernando Mendoza continually did not put the football into harm's way. Incredibly impressive. And it's like his haters, it's so funny. Like, the people who try and like take away from his game are like, oh, he's a single read RPO quarter, blah, blah, blah. He's not doing anything special. It's like, that dude was getting beat up back there, like in a real way, and hit in a way that he hasn't been hit in weeks, close to a month and a half, where like Ohio State kind of got after him a little bit, and it was really the Caden Curry hit, and after that there was a couple sacks, but he wasn't getting hit like this. And for him to keep getting up and to keep continually making plays and to ultimately make that play he made at the end of the game, what else are you looking for in a leader?
I don't know if anyone matched our physicality all year. Maybe Iowa. I called Miami, Iowa on steroids, and they looked every bit of it. Coming in just straight eye test, like just pops for days, both sides of the ball, both teams. That was one of the best like national championship games I've ever seen. Period. Like, probably the best. Like, you gotta think Florida State Auburn was a really good game. That's like, that game is right up there with it in terms of like best national title games of all time.
And I did have friends texting me being like, I thank you, Indiana, for not making this a blowout. Like, neutrals being like, thank you for making this an enjoyable game, as I'm sitting there with like my heart in my chest and like I'm freaking the dogs out every time something good or bad happens. And
I would have liked
very
a blowout,
entertaining.
Personally, I would have liked one. But
yeah, me too.
It was my heart was beating out of my chest the whole time. I thought they had us on the ropes. It was 10-7, and then we blocked the punt, and that's when things. They had us on the ropes. Oh my God, it was.
I don't know if that's when I said they would have us on the ropes. Like, I mean, as frustrating as the game was offensively, like, I don't think either of these two teams were really that surprising, at least in the first half, right? Like, Miami's defensive line was mean. Indiana was playing the more disciplined, technical game, and they were moving the football. But Indiana was having to also play a field position game. And Mitch McCarthy, who is somebody who's taken like some weird, I don't know if I would say taken weird flack in the fan base, but somebody who hasn't really been talked about that much recently because of how well Indiana's been playing. He was an absolute weapon in this game. He pins Miami back inside their own 10, and there was something on Twitter about Miami potentially setting up a trick play on that particular punt return, and Boykin makes an absolutely sick tackle on Tony to pin him in position to even have the chance to block the punt. So it was like the complementary football, but especially the way Grant Kane's special teams units played. Like punt was unbelievable. Punt coverage was great. Bryant Haynes' defense plays unbelievable, gets the 3 and out, and then special teams comes on and Mikal Kamara blocks the punt. It's like that. That is complementary football. I actually thought we were kind of in the driver's seat at that point until really the second half starts and we kind of went backwards. And Miami came out and kind of moved the ball a little bit, and it was like, oh, this is not like not really going to be the football game I anticipated it being, because going into halftime, like my score prediction of 24-10 looked great. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there thinking like, this is exactly where I thought we were going to be.
Yeah, I got to disagree with you. I think they did have us on the ropes until we blocked that punt. We get into the second half. We're not able to move the ball, and they're moving the ball at will. They are moving it down the field. They're ending it with chains. They ended the game touchdown pick in the fourth quarter. Like they were rolling toward the end there. Like we escaped.
Oh no, I'm with you. There was a point.
Give that game 5 quarters. That's another. It's another story.
Well, no, it felt like I was watching a Nate Diaz fight. You know what I mean? Where it was like for 3.5, 4 rounds, like the guy's getting beat up, and then all of a sudden, like he's there at the end. But no, I thought, especially when we blocked the punt, that we were firmly in the driver's seat, and that momentum really didn't start going the other direction until Carson Beck broke contain for the first time really all game. And it's funny, like you were watching, T-Cal was saying all week, and there's something John's saying in the chat, that Beck was having trouble reading zones. And you saw that. He was very confused all game. But the one time he was able to have success is when it was a broken play and he was able to find somebody running away from what was essentially became man coverage. And that was when their offense really opened up. It was at that point where it was like, kind of felt like Miami gained their confidence back offensively, really started running the football, realized that they weren't going to get called for holding on the offensive line. And it was like, that's when I kind of started getting nervous. And then especially when like no flags are getting called all game, and then you get the call on Landino on the last drive where you're like, there's no possible way this is happening right now. Like that's when I was really getting nervous. But you
can't tell me you weren't nervous when they had the ball down 6 with like 2 minutes to go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think we're saying the exact same thing, Keys. I don't know why you're disagreeing with me. They had us on the rope. Then we blocked that punt, and I felt a lot better. But it was still like they came back, scored a touchdown. And it's like, man, this team just won't go away. And then we respond with a touchdown of our own, rolling the dice. Signetti, big balls call at the end.
Well, I think you got to back up before. I think you got to go back. I think you have to go back a little bit before that, because that's the drive where 4th and 5, Mendoza dials up Charlie Becker, and Becker makes one of the sickest catches. No, like people are talking about it, but like, oh my God, like it was unbelievably hard for Indiana's receivers to get open, like, because you were just able to grab hold of shoulders, nameplates, whatever. Becker on 4th down figured out a way to get open, and then to secure that football in the way he did, going off to the side and falling to the ground. Like I had a tweet today that was like, can we finally call like the Charlie Becker is Alec Pierce comp? Like it's a disrespectful comp for Charlie Becker. Like Charlie Becker is a wide receiver 1. Like look at the way this dude is performing on the field. Like I don't know what else I'm not sure what else you need to look for. Like the kid is unbelievably talented. Like I'm not the only one talking about the way he should be looked at as a wide receiver prospect in the 2027 draft, which is crazy to think about considering where he was on the depth chart before the start of the year. That dude's special, man. Like Charlie Becker is unbelievable, and he didn't have the biggest game. I think it was like 4 for 68. But some of the catches he made in that game, like especially that 4th down catch, were just unbelievable.
Yeah, no one had a big game statistically. We only had 317 yards on offense. There's only so many yards to give up. Half of those went to the running backs. Black and Hemby had, about 40 carries combined for about $130, $140. And yeah, they were allowing us to, slowly but surely control the tempo, control the clock, and keep the ball out of their hands, because it seemed to, once they had the ball in their hands toward the end there, it seemed like they were coming back, and they almost did, right? And the team was able to pull it off, just with grit of all people. Jamari Sharp getting the pick. Of all the people that we talked about all year, he is the least talked about starter in Indiana all year. So for him to get that moment with a fantastic read to undercut that horrible ball by Beck, by the way, but to undercut that, make a great play on a bad ball and seal the deal. It was storybook in every way that it happened. Right, like going for it on fourth down twice on that touchdown drive to go up 24-14 to the Becker play.
Brad, I'm not sure what's up with. I'm not sure what's up with Brad's connection. I'll add him back in a second. But Jadakline, appreciate the super chat. Says you guys are flipping amazing. You guys are the first ones to call out this team's potential. I don't know if we were the first ones, but we were definitely one of the louder ones. Maybe we were the first ones. I don't know. It's been such a long ride with this team. Like it's a long and short ride. Like it is kind of crazy. Like I was talking about last night. Brad and I were talking about started Sigs Inside Indiana Football Podcast in July of 2024 with the sole reason being that nobody was talking about what was happening in Bloomington, Indiana, and what was happening with Curt Cignetti and this team, and that people needed to be speaking louder because there was something special happening. And I'm glad Cignetti brought it up last night that the 2024 team doesn't get enough respect because of because of how good they were, because of the two teams they ended up playing, because of the way they lost those two games. That team was unbelievable. And as somebody who watched that team as closely as I know probably a lot of us did, we knew what we were looking at. We knew the program we were looking at. So when you see these guys come in the offseason, you see Rourke become Mendoza, you see Kadick, who is a huge part of this. And it was awesome seeing him celebrate with the guys last night. But you see Kadick become Pat Coogan and the guys they bring in the transfer portal to make this football team better. And the places where Devon Boykin, somebody who's not going to get all the flowers. But that dude was unbelievable. All year. Where's Brett? It's it was almost slow motion car crash is the wrong way to talk about it because it's such a positive event. But the way that this football team was constructed and put together, none of it's an accident. The way they put the work in the offseason, the team camaraderie and the way that they came together, the speed bumps and the hurdles. I'm getting Brad back. Apparently it's my connection. So I'm going to have to figure this one out, but trying to get Brad back. We'll see if he ends up hopping back in. But just this team was this, and it feels like this was inevitable for this football team and for the people who started watching this team for the first time from the outside. And you can tell when people kind of came in late and were surprised by this football team, but we saw this coming. I apologize, Brad, for accusing you of having bad connection.
It was you.
It's something about the super chats. When we get super chats and I throw them on the screen, that everything goes wonky.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's just our studio. I don't think it's anything going live. I think as long as we talk, we just got to push through. Okay. Stole my whole flow is ruined now.
I couldn't hear you. That's the thing, though.
I was thinking about this all day. What were we even talking about? National championship. You were talking about the drive to put the 17-14. Cignetti decides to go for it on fourth down because that was a wild sequence. First of all, can we talk about the clock management? Because that was almost like a massive issue in this football game. I think something I've always noticed from Cignetti was, clock management's important, but at the end of the day, we had the lead, right? He's way more concerned about at that point with us with the lead of us executing and calling the right play and doing the right thing as opposed to saving a timeout for the idea that we might be behind in this game later. I think that's always been the way he's done things. We've been in the lead most of the time, so it's not like we haven't really seen a whole lot of opportunity for him to manage the clock and try to come back into a game. There hasn't been an opportunity for that really. The Notre Dame game and the Ohio State game were lost by other, reasons, right? And there wasn't really any reason to clock manage at that point. When you want to talk clock management, taking a safety against Iowa, talk about that. How about that's clock management right there.
No, I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point.
Like, obviously, we're thinking like when he takes the timeout, we're like, oh, what are we doing? What's going on? It's like, no, we're making sure we're doing the right thing. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna roll the dice. We're not gonna waste this timeout and just kick a field goal. We're gonna go for it. And goddamn, they called the QB draw on 4th and 5. Mendoza took that in. There's something in the air that night. The stars were bright.
That wasn't the call. The call was not QB draw.
What was it?
It was an RPO. According to Fernando himself, who sat down with SVP after the game, the call was if it was man-to-man pass and if it was zone run, or if the other way around, right? It was an RPO. It was based on the coverage, make a decision. And he came out and he said one side played man and one side played zone, and he just bet on himself.
What a fucking dog. I'd pick that guy 1 overall for sure.
That's what I'm saying, dude. With Brady on the sideline right there. Like, are you kidding me? And like Cubans walking around the sideline and DJ Khaled's walking around. And dude, Uzi was there, Brad. Lil Uzi was there. The fact that this picture exists in real life, that I just like have this now, like is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Lil Uzi follows one person on Instagram now. And his name is Fernando Mendoza.
Like, on a personal level, just as we don't need to talk about. No one wants to hear how much I love Lil Uzi, right? But you know what I mean? Like, that's my God damn. But yeah, man, this football team was the best team won, bro.
Against all odds. It seemed like I want to say they didn't play their best game, but they did a ton of things right.
They did a lot really well.
Miami gave them their best shot. Miami played probably one of their best games all year. Shouts out to them. They showed up.
Well,
I've never
another low penalty game for Miami.
We went through Iowa, Ohio State, Penn State. It might have been just because it's the Natty, but I was never more nervous watching the game than that. I thought, they get the ball, they're down 6. I'm like, is this really how? Not trying to be daunted, but it's like, how do you not get that thought? It's like, we're going to go all this way for fucking Carson Beck to drive down the field and score a touchdown on the final drive. And
Brian Haynes, Brad.
We trusted Brian Haynes the whole way, but I'm just saying, like, as an IU fan, you can't help but have that PTSD when these scenarios come up, right? And
well, I was going to say, I brought up clock.
Almost like it all went away.
I brought up clock management before, and I thought you made a really good point of like the way Curt Cignetti manages the clock is it's so much more important to protect the momentum and protect the lead than it is to protect the time in a weird way or save the timeout. But he did have the one timeout in the back pocket, and you saw they called the timeout and set their defense, and that was what led to the interception. So it's like, you're absolutely right. It's like how mad do you want to be about the way the guy manages the clock?
That was the one timeout where you're like, what the hell are they doing? They're stopping the clock and they're on the other side of the 50 and they're stopping the clock. You're like, what are we doing? What's going on? And then we get that interception from Jamari Sharp, and who's coming back next year, by the way. Special group of people. Everyone involved was doing their job at a championship level, and that's how you get to 16-0. There wasn't any weak links in this chain. It's almost like I'm almost transitioning to the off season, but it's like I really don't want to. We gotta stay in the moment here.
No, we're gonna stay in the moment. I thought it was funny that like we both talked about how much Indiana needed to tackle Mark Fletcher, and the one time he really gashed them is when he ran past everybody. He's so unbelievably good. Malachi Toney, again, another dude, just like really, really terrifying to play against, especially when he has the ball in his hands. And I thought we did a really good job identifying where he was at all times and kind of limiting him, especially in the first half. Like the way Bones Jones played was unbelievable. Like the fact that Indiana could keep 3 linebackers on the field in this football game was with the way that Miami tries to use motion and the misdirection that they were like, and it had us off guard a couple of times, right? But just really, really unbelievably impressive stuff from the Indiana defense, which was arguably the best unit in the country all
Yeah.
year. And then
Bane,
like
if Bane doesn't go 2 overall, I don't know what we're doing out here, guys.
The arms thing is overrated, man. For like, I don't know what else you could want from a guy. It's the same thing with like if you look at D'Angelo Pons and like I saw it on the timeline all night, all morning. Like if this guy was 6 foot, like he'd be the first round pick. It's like, how about he should just be a first round pick anyway, based on production, right? Like Ruben Bain's the same way. Like if Ruben Bain is not a top 5 pick because his arms are an inch too short, like we're overthinking it. You know, like it's that's the guy I want on my football team.
The master eye test hates is this type of shit where you're gonna look at measurables and just that's the end all be all in terms of evaluating a player. And at the end of the day, like D'Angelo Pons is a good football player. Ruben Bain, good football player. Mark Fletcher, good football player. Elijah Surratt, good football player. Right? They're just good players. And that's why they're all in the Natty. Seems dumb when you say it out loud, but you know, people don't think that way, which is crazy. It's insane. People want to overanalyze and run numbers and run 40 times in their underwear and pretend that that's how you grade a player. It's not.
Well, Brad, I think it's fitting that my final key to the game was to force Miami to rely on Carson Beck.
Well, they didn't. He didn't even throw it downfield like more than.
No, that was that. In the end, the ball was in Carson Beck's hands with a chance to win.
It's true. They couldn't run it with Mark Fletcher down a touchdown, huh?
Not when you need a touchdown with no timeouts. Got to move the ball down the field. Crazy.
Beautiful. Worked out perfectly.
Crazy. It really did. Let's see. What do I want to talk about in the game? Yeah. The 3 and outs I thought was a huge deal. At one point in the first half, Brad, Indiana had the 14 play drive and Miami had just run 14 total plays. Like you looked at the game at that point and I thought it was going to be an absolute avalanche. The refs, you made the point. I thought they let both teams play. There was a lot of grabbing and holding on both sides, especially in the secondary. Indiana, I can't remember when exactly the switch happened, but they made a switch, Ajani for Benson, and really started to move the ball on the ground a little bit. Mm-hmm. That was a catalyst. Everybody was bleeding. Pons and Sharp, I thought, were brilliant all game. Like those guys were really good in coverage, tackling as well. Boykin, obviously, elite special teams tackle. He doesn't make that tackle inside the 7, doesn't or wherever the ball ended up being spotted. Like Indiana's not in a position to block the punt. Isaiah Jones finds, like, to me, Isaiah Jones just finds himself in the right spot like so often. Like there was a play, I think it was in that same sequence where he ended up playing in the flat and laid out and almost picked the ball off. And then he's the one who falls on the block punt from Mikal Kamara for the touchdown. The fact that was Kamara, Brad, I would like to get your thoughts on this. Like for that kid to have that moment, I thought was just poetic. So what did you think about Kamara getting in on the block punt?
A lot of this game was poetic. You want to talk Charlie Becker, 4th down, Mendoza touchdown on 4th down, Jamari Sharp interception to end the game, Kamara not having the year production-wise that maybe a lot of people expected, still was very good in the pressure numbers, but maybe didn't get the sack totals up. For him to get that block punt, changed the game. That was the difference in the game. Like if you want to point to one play, like we don't block that punt, we tip that punt, and it's not a touchdown, like do we win that game? I think that's a very fair question to ask, right? Like for him to make that play and we score on that, by the way, the bar was going nuts so many times.
Yeah, I was going to set you up. So you watched the game where, Brad?
I watched it at Sluggers in Chicago, Illinois, right across the street from Wrigley Field. IU bar. Got there at 2 p.m. That was 4.5 hours before kickoff, and we were there till the end of the game. Didn't see a whole lot of sunshine that day. There isn't a whole lot of sunshine in Chicago these days, anyways. But there was that day. But I was indoors the whole way, holding down a table for some of my closest friends, and we had a hell of a time. I mean, it was an absolute hugs and celebrations, singing Fernando and singing the fight song. Just it was a great atmosphere. Lots of pops. It was going nuts. Whether you want to talk about the interception, the Mendoza touchdown, the blocked punt, the Nowakowski fullback dive.
Yeah, I can't believe we haven't talked about Nowakowski being the first touchdown scorer in the national championship. And he was awesome all day. Talk about the job he had. Like, they were isolating him on both ends all day, and he was battling and getting tossed around sometimes, winning some
battling.
others.
Yeah, he was battling. I mean, when I saw Bain throw Nowakowski to the side, I was just like, okay, this Bain I've never seen anyone do that to Nowakowski all year. This Bain guy is able to move him around like he's nothing. And yeah, I mean, Nowakowski, hats off to him. He did his job. I mean, all you can ask them to do is do their job to the best of their ability, and that's what they try to do. And sometimes you're not going to win every single matchup, even if you try your best. That's life. That's how it goes. You could try your best and not win. You know, it's a sad reality, but that's just how it is. And you know, for this team to really just intangibilize the coach speak that is Cignetti, right? Like, every play is a life and history of its own. We're on the next play, fast, physical, relentless, smart, disciplined, poised. Like, this team just lives it and breathes it. Like, this OG team, like, they live it. Now, I was going to say more about what the future holds, but I guess I'll just save it for the future podcasts.
Yeah, trust me, Brad. Long off season, plenty to talk about. I know there was
some
things that happened today. Like
8 months of rat poison is what I'm calling the off season, but
plenty of time for that. I want to talk about. So there was a lot that happened, obviously, before the game. The pomp and circumstance that goes along with playing a national championship. Like, obviously, we just witnessed a playoff run. We saw the Rose Bowl. That was a huge deal and a lot of eyes on that. We go to the Peach Bowl, huge deal, a lot of eyes on that. This is a whole different ballgame. Like, when the entire college football world is focused on you, like when the entire this is one of those few times where you realize that college football is its own little bubble because people care so much about it. But when you start seeing all the people from not just sports but outside celebrity get attracted to this football game, especially with the location, and it's in Vegas next year, right? So we'll that again probably put that on steroids, but like it was just to have the Indiana brand be both associated with it and then come out as the victor, unbelievable. Like, we talk Cuban, Uzi, DJ Khaled, different media members, like I think Mendoza might have been on Good Morning America this morning or something crazy like that, right? Or like, and that's kind of the level of fame that winning the national championship puts you at, and for that to be the Indiana football brand now moving forward is unbelievably special and important. But the fun stuff has just been watching the people, like the fans who've been waiting for this type of success celebrate. And like, talked about Mike Kadick before when you got disconnected, or when I disconnected you. But Kadick and White Boy Rick, essentially being the Mincy of this week and having Ohio State document their national championship journey, and then the celebration where they got to go and hang out with the team after and go to the club with the team and all that stuff. Like, what an unbelievably cool moment for those guys, for all the Indiana fans who were able to make the trip down to Miami. It was just a really special moment for the entire fan base.
It was tears. Like, I went around and like found people throughout the city at different bars. Like, I found Coach Pundit just in the city. I just found him. You know, he wasn't with me at the game, but I went and I just found him. I had a big embrace over there, like lots of hugs, like just like we never thought it still like pinched me. Like, I don't know if this is like what weird, sick reality are we in right now where Indiana football is the kings of the castle. It's like, when am I going to wake up and we're back in my senior year house and none of it happened, you know?
I get it. Well, this has been the year of Brad.
Yeah, a little bit. Bears didn't win. That was disappointing. I can't have everything, I guess, I can't have a shot at the NFC title and a World Series and a national title in one sports calendar year. It is what it is, What are you gonna
do? Brad, this team started off last offseason unranked by media pundits.
As they should have
go into the preseason.
I'm just saying in a sense where it's like, yeah, first year head coach, like, no, you don't know anything.
No. Off season last year, like 20 going into.
What do you mean?
Going into this season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Okay.
In the preseason,
that was bullshit.
In the preseason, they're ranked around 20. They beat Old Dominion and drop. They don't get any respect until they absolutely slaughter Illinois at home. Iowa's their road test. Nobody gives them any credit for it.
They go out. There was a knock, if anything.
They go out to Oregon, make an absolute statement. They get pulled back down by a Penn State game that people only tuned in at the end because they saw it was close and didn't see how the game was played. They beat Ohio State for the first time since 87, and it had been 30 straight, I think, that Ohio State had won. Go into the Rose Bowl as favorites, clobber Alabama. Go into the Peach Bowl, absolutely take over the stadium. It's the largest gathering of Hoosiers in one spot for a football game ever. Then you go into Miami, take over the stadium to the point where they are getting false starts and delay of games at home because of the crowd noise. It is just so wild to me. This is where we've ended up, even though me and you have been talking about this being a legitimate possibility for damn near a full year.
Yeah. It's wild to kind of be in this spot and we always called ourselves a sleeping giant. Like, we have this huge alumni base, and not only we have a huge alumni base, they're very tuned to sports. They just are. Yeah, the Peyton Manning Colts. We talked about allusion to our original pilot episode, how there is football culture in Indiana with Peyton Manning and the Colts, and there's a hunger for a really good football team at the Indiana University, right? And they just never had it. Like, it was always like, how is this possible? How did they not? And then they put some money into it, and see where they are. We're gonna be. How, like, we go around and we're like, oh, I hate Ohio State fans, I hate Bama fans, we're that fan base now. People are gonna go around and be like, I hate Indiana fans. Like, we go around, we go into their place, we bring a big coalition of red to opposing.
We're very nice, though. Everybody says that.
We are very
nice. Everybody says how nice we are.
But then we go around.
The funniest tweet I saw was like,
Hoosiers the whole time while we're up 30, and then they hate us,
Yeah, it's tough. The funniest tweet I saw, though, was like, it was somebody in Miami being like, I haven't seen a single Hoosier, and then somebody else being like, you're not looking around then. Like, they're everywhere, and they're really nice. It's weird or something like that. That was very funny.
That is hilarious. Yeah, I did see someone that was just like, I hate Indiana because of how nice their fans are, basically. I did see stuff like that going around. Like, it's annoying. Like, talk shit to me. Like, please, I'm begging you. Like, sing to my level. Please, they're just happy to be here, and it's pissing me off, right? Like, it's like, yeah. And the thing is, like, we win this natty, it's still going to be the same way. Because one thing I don't want this fan base to ever forget is where we came from. And this idea that we're going to ever get, as a fan base, complacent in terms of travel on the road and, showing out to sluggers on big game days and doing, like, we got to make sure we keep doing our part and not get complacent. Because if, as a college football historian, you can become a Nebraska, you can become a Florida State, you can become one of those former blue bloods so quickly. You could become a Florida, where it's like, how did the Florida ever become a non-football power? Like, how did that happen? It's astronomical. So we got to enjoy every game, whether it's Kennesaw State or Ohio State. We got to enjoy it all. and embrace it and just keep enjoying the ride because it's going to keep going. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. We're not going to go. I'm going to call it out right now. I don't think we go 16-0 next year. I don't. It's not because I'm not putting self-imposed limitations on this team. I just know it's really hard to win 32 games in a row in college football. It's almost, I don't even know if that's ever happened. I don't know.
Oklahoma won 56 straight or something like that.
What, in like the 80s with
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe Nebraska had something like that. Like I did it. I know what record you're talking about. I broke it on my, it's funny because I did an IU Dynasty on my Xbox 360 that you actually I bought off you for COVID. And in that dynasty,
you didn't buy, you paid for shipping.
Yeah, in that dynasty, 10 straight natties, like undefeated season. We won like 99 games in a row or something. Like, I got bored playing that game and I stopped. I was just like, I'm winning too much. I had to put the sliders for the CPU up to 100 for them to beat me, and because my team was just so loaded. Because we kept winning, I had all the best players, so I was like, whatever. But it's like it's crazy that they're able to like literally do that in real life, and like they're on a trajectory where it's like that's gonna be like so quick to get to this level, and then like, yeah, it's gonna be, we're gonna lose at some point, right? I don't know if that's gonna be next year or 5 years from now, but we're gonna lose. But the point is, we gotta keep enjoying the ride. We gotta keep trusting Signetti no matter what. I mean, he's a god. He's getting a statue. I don't think anyone's gonna.
Yeah, this is enough for
that way. It's like shit's gonna happen. This was a special group, top to bottom. Like, we're talking staff, we're talking coaches, strength coach, players. Like, it was just a special group, and it takes special people. A lot of that's gonna change year in and year out. When that's just the reality of the sport right now, and to this idea that we're going to be able to replicate it like it was this year every year is an unrealistic possibility. With that being said, we're still going to be perennial playoff team every year. It's but yeah, it's going to be, I just enjoy the ride, guys. Just enjoy it. It's going to continue.
No, I think that's a great point, Brad. But it's like this is something so special. Like, there's a reason why people are calling it one of the greatest sports stories of all time, and like it's in a college football world where like people were making a joke about it, right? Like, they just won the national championship. Winter workout starts in 2 weeks. Like, oh, they just lost the national championship. Their workouts start in 2 weeks. But as a fan base, like this is a once in a lifetime type of story. Like, it would be irresponsible as Indiana football fans to not live where our feet are and to enjoy every single moment of what this is. And like we have to enjoy this. Like, we have to reminisce in this. Like, we have to honor this 2025 team for what they were, and hold these guys to a standard, or like to this, put them on the pedestal that they deserve, because this will probably never happen again. And the fact that this happened to us deserves to be enjoyed.
Yeah, 100%. And keep going. Like,
yeah, we're never satisfied is the last part. Like, it's 6 seconds to play, like fast, physical, relentless, smart, disciplined, poise. Like, every play is a life in whatever it was. And they had some guy on the plane like absolutely butcher it. And I was like, whatever. Big fan base. But the last part of that is never satisfied. Never. And the idea is that there's still more to do. Like, cool, you climbed the mountain once. That's great. Like, it's awesome and really fun to win a title, right? And like I just said, like, we're going to enjoy the hell out of this. And we should enjoy the hell out of this. But the mentality of this football team and this coaching staff, and ultimately why they are so great, is that it's going to flip. And it's like, okay, cool, that was fun. Let's do it again. How do you do it again? You got to stack days. You got to start at the beginning. Brad, I want to ask you, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. My plan is to make this more of like a series on the channel. So you'll start seeing different people that we've interacted with, people that we haven't interacted with, pop up over the next few weeks to months. Hold on. The dog's just trying to eat everything on my table. Brad, what does this mean to you in the Indiana football national championship?
Indiana football national title? Well, it means a lot in the sense that I'm an Indiana alum, class of 2021. I went there not because Definitely not because of their football program. Say that. I went there almost in spite of, because I applied to a lot of big schools, Big 10, Pac-12 schools, and I wanted a team with a football team. Like that was, they had to play D1 football. Like that was important to me in terms of like picking a school to where I was going to go. There's plenty of great schools out there that have good football teams. There's plenty of great schools that don't have a football team, right? But I wanted to go to a school that had a football team, just something to root for, right? Like to wake up on, as a lifelong college football fan, it'd feel gross to not have an alma mater where I can't wake up on a Saturday and watch that game. That was always super important to me. This idea that, and it was like, okay, I'm going to go to Indiana. And like, I loved the visit. The campus was unbelievable. It was actually a school that wasn't really high on my radar. So I went on this Midwest college tour, right, in high school, where I was like, I really want to look at Michigan. I really want to look at Wisconsin. And Indiana just happened to be on this tour, right? And I'm like super excited. Love the Wisconsin tour. Love the Michigan tour. And we stop in Bloomington, and I really was never on my radar, like at all, going into it. And I stepped on campus. I just had this feeling about it, right? Like this, just the campus is magnificent. It's all limestone, great vibes, hustle and bustle, bikes everywhere. Like it was spring, like it was a little overcast. It wasn't the best weather, but it's still like a great vibe. And it was bumping. And it was like, you know how Bloomington is during the school year. Like just bodies everywhere. So many people there. It's one of the largest institutions in America. And it's really cool. Like you can obviously get drowned in it, but I think that was just something I wanted, right? And then all things go, and then I end up going there, you know, yada yada yada, application process, and all the cards fall, and I end up going to Indiana. And never ever enrolling freshman year did I ever think they would win a national title. That was never something I thought was possible. It was more so like, okay, let's get basketball back. You know, like let's see how, okay, Archie, like, you know, like we got this new coach. Like, let's see if we can get basketball back on track. And obviously that didn't work out too well. So to win a national title as like a huge sports fan that just wanted to have a team to root for on Saturday is just, I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. Because that was never, I thought, possible. That was never something I wanted. I just wanted a team on Saturday to root for, that where I went to school there. That was it. It was never about, like, obviously I wanted them to be competitive and to like show a great brand for the university, but like to get that done for, and now more so turning it to like what it means for the university. Like I've said this before, like this team, 2025 26 Hoosier football team is the best representation of that university ever. Like I said, never daunted. We will not falter through the battle. We're tried and true. Indiana, we're all for you. There's no better group of kids that exemplified that more than all these kids I'm looking at on my little sheet of paper here, where I've had the depth chart since April and hasn't changed at all. Funny thing, I have Becker in my third string line. You know, I was expecting big things from Mekhi Jackson this year. I'm sorry. I just was like, sorry, sue me. All right. Yeah, I'm not at the practices anyways, but to win, like for the school, to represent my university and the school that I hold, where I've met some of my best friends for life at that place. And like some of my best friends went there. My girlfriend went to Indiana. Like Indiana is in my blood, and for us to get it done, and not just like, it's my favorite sport. So like, I just feel like the luckiest guy in the world, and to have it happen within 10 years of me enrolling is just insane. Like I never even thought that was like a real like possibility. So like, shout out.
How about within 2 years of starting a podcast?
Shout out NIL. Shout out love that shit. Because this is impossible, but it turned, once the transfer portal and NIL became a thing, it became improbable, right? It was actually impossible until NIL and transfer portal became a thing. This whole like idea that you can turn it around at all, let alone like within 2 years. Like you would need the portal, you would need NIL, and you would need to like stack weeks, stack years. What they did in 2 years is in and of itself by itself. But just winning a national title at some point, whether that's this year, whether that was going to be in 2040, like to be able to be proud to be a Hoosier, where I think obviously lots of schools have tons of school pride, but I think with Indiana, like we were already hooing when we were going 3-9. Like this isn't like, I know they say we didn't have fans. Like that actually couldn't have been further from the truth. I remember going to the bar and I'm like, all right, we got Wisconsin today. We're probably gonna get blown out, but I'm gonna have 10 beers and it's gonna be a great time. I'm gonna enjoy it with all my friends and it's gonna be a fantastic day. And like that's why I went to a school like Indiana, to like enjoy college football Saturdays, win or lose, right? So like to have it to where it's like, oh, we're winning every weekend now. I just feel like the luckiest guy in the world. And on top of that, I'm an LA sports fan and a Bears fan, so it's been pretty good for me lately.
You're also an Indiana football podcaster, Brad.
And on top of that, when my good buddy Alec Keyser called me up, proposed an idea after Signetti got hired, and I saw the press conferences, and first I saw the Assembly Hall bit where he said Purdue sucks, but so does Michigan and Ohio State, and like I thought he was crazy. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing, sir? I do not want to lose by 50 to Ohio State again. I'm sick of that happening. I'd much rather just be a nice little 4 touchdowns and they put the 2s in, and we call it a day. I don't want them to have a reason to run up the score, right? Like that was like what I was thinking, and then you like start to read up on him a little bit, and then you hear the stories of him driving to the curb and he's all tired and he gets some of that post, that presser, and he's just exhausted because he's on like 3 hours of sleep a day for about a month. And they just keep asking him, like, how are you convincing guys to come to Indiana? He's like, the pitch is simple. I went Google me. He's like all pissed. Like, he's like, I'm literally sick of, I don't want to be here right now. Like that was literally his, like, he's like pouting. like, he's like, I fucking win. Google me. Like pouting basically. And that's what really caught my, I'm like, who? Okay. This idea that this man is just grinding out and he's just, the self-belief, I mean, it just was so contagious. And to see that, like, he is one of the most inspirational, like, and this might sound like biased, but like when we talk about like Wooden, like I was raised on John Wooden, like UCLA alum dad, right? Like John Wooden is like a big deal in my house in terms of like how I was raised, like learning the pyramid of success as like a first grader and like understanding like the foundational blocks, like the 5 blocks on the bottom, like that's your foundation. Without those 5 blocks, you can't move up to the next level to get there. And like learning all those philosophies and like how he, like John wouldn't ever, they'd win a national title. First practice the next year, first thing we're doing, we're learning how to tie shoes. We're starting with the basics. We're starting at the beginning. And there's so much similarities to like when you think like John Wooden, Coach K, Phil Jackson, like there's a lot of these guys we can like learn from and like have these teachings, right? Signetti's like that. Like he is maybe even more so. Like he even said it in like his pros, like if you in the post game, like with Reese Davis, if you put your head down, you work, anything's possible, right? And I think that is so inspirational. Like he says that on top of so many other things, right? Like never satisfied. That's a great life kind of, never be complacent, never satisfied. Like that's such a great life lesson. Like it is so awesome that he's at our university teaching all these things, and it's not all about like the flashy play callers and the hot shot coach with the cool sunglasses. And we got we got an actual teacher of men at our university coaching football, and it's beautiful. Like he's going to be when he drops a book, I want to write the book myself. Actually, I would love to be in Signetti's office and write a coaching leadership type book for Signetti and kind of learn about his teaching. I'm sure he's got something somewhere. Would love to help him publish it. Yeah, it's beautiful that that's our university, because I feel like that's what we're all about. Like, never daunted, we will not falter. Through the battle, we're tried and true. Like that is a life thing, right? That's not just about football. That's about when you leave college and you hit the real world, right? Like that shit translates. These are real things. They sound cheesy when you're younger, but when you get older, you realize how real all those cliches are. And to have that be a representation of my university is just so special. And to have it capped off with like icing on the cake, like national championship, like that 16-0, best team ever, like first team to ever do it, it's unreal. It's special.
Do you have a favorite moment from 2025? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. And anybody from the chat, feel free to start launching in answers here. Like I want to see if there's like a consensus, if people have their heads at different spots. But and I didn't usually I like to like give Brad a little bit of a heads up and let him think about it. But I'm really putting him on the spot here. So I have a couple that come to mind, and they're all like these.
There's a few. We'll nominate some, but I'm gonna throw one that's outside the box. First play of the year.
That is out of the box. I was not expecting that at all.
First play of the year. As much as it pissed me off, looking back, that was my favorite moment because I think it taught me, A, never get daunted. B, every play has a life and history of its own. Next play. Because that was not good. Usually, like, there's this whole thing where it's like, like the first play is usually how it's going to like foreshadow your season, right? Like, you get a 5-yard run, like, okay, maybe we're going to have like a good year this year. You get sacked on your first play, like, oh, shit, we might stink. Give up a 75-yard rushing touchdown to the quarterback we all know is probably going to keep the ball a lot. Not a great way to start. Yeah, that like looking back, like obviously there's so many different moments where it's like I'm with so many different people, and like I literally went to the Rose Bowl like in my hometown and watched my future national champion Hoosiers win over Alabama. Like I think to start the season off like that and to come out on top is just I think it's taught me a lot. I think covering this team has been so special. I've learned so much about like life, just like following Sig so closely. And I think it's helped me in my own personal life in a lot of ways. And I think it's just really special that's why that's my favorite moment. Cause I think it just teaches you about resilience and like, you can make mistakes and still get to the mountaintop, right? You can't just sit on your sulk and feel sorry for yourself. You just got to dust yourself off and get back after it, go to work. And I think that is a special thing. But for the real thing, all right, let's just rattle them off then. Let's just go. Let's just rattle off.
Oh, dude, I don't know how like the Iowa sequence from when Mendoza gets launched into the whatever he hit over there to when he hits Surratt on the slant and he goes for the touchdown. It's like that. That's the epitome of this Indiana football season. Is like, oh my God, this is not going the way we thought it was going to. Like it because it like. You have your idea of going into the Iowa game, like, yeah, we're going to go blow them out, right? And then you're getting kind of like Brad said, like they took it to us in that game physically. They had a great scheme. They used the crowd. And you're sitting there and you're like, okay, well, if this is the football team that we thought they are and that we think they can be, like Fernando Mendoza is going to figure out how to make a play here. They're going to give him enough time and somebody's going to get open. And who gets open is the guy who's always open. And Elijah Surratt does wonders for his draft stock, for Hoosier Nation, for the future of that Indiana football team. Like to come out of that, like, the people who obviously don't watch enough Big Ten football and aren't true Big Ten football historians. Like I'm not a huge Big Ten football historian, right? Like I'm an Indiana football fan, but I'm not like this. Like I'm not going back to the mid 2000s talking about like how they're building up Kinnick and all this good stuff, right? And so like to watch the way Kinnick affected that football game and the way that Indiana ultimately was able to stand there in the end and make winning plays, it's like that was the DNA of this football team all year. Like you wanted to see it, that was it. Like that sequence of Mendoza getting launched and then throwing the touchdown on third down, like to me, like that was the season in a nutshell.
It was. It like so many like. I love that. That is, I agree. So many other like honorable mentions. Obviously, like realistically, the opening play is not my favorite moment. Like it was honestly
Like
like
Brad,
I was really pissed, and I was really like, man, what did I spew all off season? Like, what was I saying? Holy, I'm gonna get clipped. Anyways, but never daunted. Anyways, some of my favorite highlights of the year. A lot of it has to do with the fact that like what's beautiful and like why I wanted to go to a school that has a football team is because college football Saturdays, like it gets you to go hang out with your friends. It gives you an excuse to get out and go hang out with your friends because as you get older and older, just going to the bar is not like that's not fun anymore. It's just not. Like, and so to have this idea where you can all get together, have some drinks and have a good time, like that is the kind of my favorite moments, right? Like whether it be 0 dark 30 for Illinois. A lot of people don't know this because I didn't really tell. Only Keyser knows this story. The public does not know this. The Illinois game, I only watched the first quarter and then I went to the Peggy Goo concert when 0 dark 30. Did not have turned off my phone, gave it to my girlfriend, put it in her bag, turned off my Apple Watch, and I enjoyed the Peggy Goo concert, and it was super fun. And then we came back, but before we saw the first quarter, and we were all watching together, a lot of us Hoosiers, and Pons blocks that punt, and we are going bananas, right? Like we are going so stupid, and then to go and then leave after the first quarter, Peggy Goo concert, come back, watch the recording, watch us beat the shit out of Illinois, 63-10, kind of buzzing off the concert, like super fun day. Iowa, watched that one at Sluggers. Very similar environment to like not as packed as it was for the national title game, but very similar environment. Like the pop on the Surratt touchdown, like that was awesome. And we were chirping some of the Iowa fans that were in town. And by the way, Iowa fans, rude and snobby as hell. By the way, compared to a lot of fan bases, I will say that. They've been winning for a long time, and they act like it. It's like, oh, it's fucking Indiana. Why is Indiana talking to me right now? We're Iowa. We haven't had a losing season in 40 years, which is like deserved, right? But like, I don't know, you're at our bar, Sluggers is not you.
There's something to be said about going 8-4, and there's something to be said about going 8-4. And you know what I mean? If that's your ceiling, that's your ceiling. That's cool.
8-4 is great. Like when we started this podcast, remember, we were like, we believe in the Signetti guy, like no self-imposed limitations, but like all we really want here is a team that's consistently winning 8+ games a year.
Well, there's still people in our fan base who give Corey from the Big Ten show shit.
Yeah, we should have brought Corey on today. That would have been fun.
He won't. I've tried to. He won't come on Tuesday nights. He's busy.
Of course. So Iowa, that was a special day. Oregon, watching it at Coach Pundit's place with a lot of good, old fraternity brothers there that I haven't seen in a while. And obviously some I see all the time, but some I hadn't seen in a while and don't get to see too often. Awesome day. And we just belt the ass Oregon in the second half. And that was awesome. Just relentless, just absolutely destroyed them. And I don't know why people look back at the game and it's like, that was a close game. Like that was not a close game.
It was not
at all.
That game was so bad that we won the respect of the Oregon fans over. They were like, please be nice to us. Like in that fan base is awesome. Incredible fan base. Love those guys. But like a lot of that had to do with the fact that 2030 was could have and probably should have been a lot worse.
Yeah. I like that we're recapping the season because like after this, like we're on to next year. Like we're closing, we're not satisfied. We're gonna be covering the off season. We're gonna be going at it. I'm gonna get to work on projected depth chart for next year, tracking the portal and seeing what's going on with them. I got to watch all the freshman tape, got to watch all the portal tape, and I'll give you my analysis.
We're not getting off the hook of that. Don't worry. I got a couple more questions.
And I'm still going on my.
Yeah, no, we're good. Hey, me and we went to a game together. First time I saw you in person, and since we graduated, probably.
Yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, the UCLA game was a big highlight for me. Super cold game, but still awesome. 56-6 against the former
Hayden Fisher pick
school that
six.
I used to support because my dad went there. A very special school. Like Indiana is just so far ahead of like UC. Like we have basically eliminated all sort of UCLA fandom for myself. Just the fact that we've just been so successful in football. It's unbelievable. It's so funny that like my whole life, all I wanted was this to happen for UCLA. And I go to a school where it's like that'll never happen. But it's like it's okay. Like I still got UCLA in my back pocket, right? Like they might turn around someday. It's a sleeping giant in LA, like tons of recruits around there. Like they'll bring it back someday. And to have it happen at my own alma mater way before it's going to happen at UCLA is really, really funny and ironic. Yeah, super cool. I mean, just watching like casual, like hungover Saturdays on the couch, you know, and just enjoying like a Maryland, Wisconsin ass whooping, right? Like those are special moments, right? Just to enjoy that, right? Like kind of, you know, not by myself, but you know, just kind of relax and enjoy those things is special in of itself. And those are the things I remember, right? And awesome moments. The Penn State game had some people over at my place for that one. We were going absolutely ham when Cooper, Omar Cooper. Unbelievable. Give life over now. Unreal. Probably like I would love to say like the Bama game, like that Penn State game is like the most iconic IU game to date. Period. Just like magic, right? That was like the magic, right? Like you put in all the hard work. There's something that I didn't learn from Signetti. I knew this before Signetti even came here. Hard work creates luck. A lot of people don't believe in luck, but like hard work creates success. And like you get lucky because you put in all that hard work, right? Like and things just happen for you because you're doing it and you're putting good energy out in the universe, like law of attraction. I don't know if anyone's ever read that. Like that shit is real. And to have Cooper keep his leg up and drop his foot, like, yeah, maybe a little lucky, but like talk about Derek Owings off-season winter workouts. Like, I don't know. I think there's some correlation there, right? Like hard work creates luck. And to have that happen with just the level of preparation, execution, and the amount of work they put in the offseason, unbelievable. Probably to date my favorite game. Personally, just with the end, the call, like on the road in State College, like a blue blood, like knocking them off. It's so cool. Fuck State Penn, by the way. Fuck that school. Some other favorite moments, like oh man, my mom's not gonna like this one, but like because I know she watches these sometimes. But she knows the story already. She's not gonna be shocked. We were watching the Ohio State game at my play. Well, we watched the Purdue game at Winnie's. That was kind of like whatever. Like Purdue is such like a little flea on our ass at this point. Like when it comes to football, like I don't even care about that game. I care way more about Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, USC, Nebraska. If we get them, like those games mean way more to us now that we're at the level. Honestly, it's at a point where it's like I hope Purdue can get to a point where they're 6-6 and 7-5 and give us a shot. Like I would love that. To be honest, like
I'm completely fine with beating them by 50 every year, Brad. I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right, fair enough. To teach their own. You know, we can have different opinions on that. That's fair. I know mine's a little out of the box, right? Like I like, but like I like the Penn State. Like I like sweating that out and pulling it out. Like I think that's fun. Obviously,
well, yeah, winning in the end was incredible. I'm completely with you. For me, the Peach Bowl also will always be like really special because of like the relationships and connections I have in Atlanta. Like I was able to do some really cool things. I literally walked out onto the field pregame and was on the turf and got to watch McAfee talk to the refs and tell them to stay out of the game and watch the Indiana team warm up. And like, that was an unbelievably surreal experience. And then to watch them go out and put BTA like that and the Ponds pick six is right in my lap. Basically, that was an absolutely insane moment. I will never forget. And just the way the stadium was, the crowd, and the way that the noise bounced off the roof of that stadium, and like the Pete, like that was it was a season of moments where it's like you could literally go game by game by game and be like, there's 2 or 3 things that happened there and 4 or 5 things that happened here. And like the realities of success are one of the things that I kind of wanted to, I don't want to say close out on, but definitely at least touch on, because there are some things that happened today. Like Derek Owings is now going to be the strength and conditioning coach for Tennessee, which absolutely sucks. And Alberto Mendoza hopped in the portal. He's going to Georgia Tech. And like when
Great
you
fit,
win,
by the way. It's very
yeah,
Ainsley-esque. So I kind of like that fit for him. Good for him. Boomerangs are a thing. This is the portal. Lou Moore, boomeranged. Khalil Benson, boomeranged. I think it's good to have some more guys. Like, it's not like guys are leaving because they're like, fuck this place. They're leaving because like, I want to go play. And that's what the portal is all about. It's a pro player mechanism, right? To allow guys to get their opportunities and play football, right? Because it's a kid's sport, right? It's a sport, right? We want to play. We want to play the sport. Special. Ohio State game, hosted that at my place. Awesome. Had a big group of people, lots of pizza, got some food. It was awesome. Big sweat of a game. Fielding misses the kick. I give double birds to the one Ohio State fan who's a friend of mine's girlfriend in their face, and she gets up and leaves. Not a great look for me, maybe, but like that happened, you know. And
I'm sorry for cutting off your story, Brad.
And we're also really we're really close, so it's like I don't know. There's no ill will there, but it wasn't like we went to a Blackhawks game like 2 weeks later.
I never. That's the first time I've heard that story.
Moment, like she's an Ohio State fan, like she's an Ohio State fan. They need to get their shots. They deserve. They get so much, right? They have been so good for so long. Like it's a respect thing that I'm not even the biggest chirper. Like if I'm going to chirp you, like that is a respect thing. Like I don't chirp. I don't go out of my way to chirp Purdue. I don't go out of my way to chirp Minnesota. I chirp Ohio State and I chirp Michigan and I chirp the big dogs. That's how I bark at. So if you're gonna get that out of me, you're getting respect from me at the same time. I will say that. So to get that win over Ohio State, first time in 40 years since '88, damn near, unreal. One of my just an iconic moment where it's like it was almost like obviously it was like that makes it a fantastic season by itself.
Well, what did I tell you before the Big Ten championship game that you made fun of me for?
You said, would you rather win the Big Ten or the national championship? I still think it's stupid because like I'll take a natty over a Big Ten title any day. But I know what you're saying now in the sense where like winning that Big Ten title was obviously this natty was super special, but to win that and this is going to be a little overshadowed by that natty, right? Where it's like winning that Big Ten title was the validation that we needed as a fan base. Like we're here, we've arrived, we're the new bloods in the sport, and we just beat Ohio State, like double birds, like hell yeah, let's go, let's rock and roll. And then we get the 1 seed, right? And then waking up on that after Army Navy after championship weekend, getting the bid for the 1 seed, then Army Navy the next week, and then we're going off to the Rose Bowl. Like I said all these things, and it's like it almost all culminates to like selfishly my hometown, Pasadena, California, born in Huntington Memorial Hospital, down the road on Orange Grove, and to win that game against that opponent that way is something that I will never, ever, ever forget. It hurts so good in between the third and fourth quarter. I hope that becomes like, how all these teams have in the SEC, which great culture in the SEC. We shit on them all the time. They need to get it up in football, but they have great football culture over there. And a lot of those teams, they play like traditional, their songs like going into the fourth quarter. And I think Hurts So Good has to be Indiana's new song that they play. Either that or Small Town. Figure it out. In Memorial. So we'll get the momentum on that in the off season and try to get Jeremy Gray on that or something. We'll figure it out. yeah, to go to Pasadena, the most beautiful, most gorgeous stadium in all the land. It's like everyone who I talk to is just like, that is the best stadium I've ever been to. There's no bad seats. You called the Peach Bowl the biggest gathering of IU football fans. It was actually the Rose Bowl. There was definitely 70,000 strong there. I don't even think
there was more than that at the Peach Bowl.
I don't even think the Peach Bowl fits 70,000, to be quite honest with you.
75,000
What I'm coming
was
from is that I know that
attendance.
stadium is smaller than the Rose Bowl.
It is, but
that's
were there more than 71,000 Hoosiers there?
Dude, when we were trophy ceremony for the Rose Bowl, 3/4 full.
The entire stadium was full for the trophy ceremony for the Peach Bowl.
Well, people would dip out. Like, there were Indiana fans that left for the trophy ceremony, I will say. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Two of the greatest, largest things. And then did the same thing I did for the Big Ten championship, did that for the Oregon game. Hosted, had a bunch of people over.
Double bird.
It was over as soon as Byron Baldwin smacked that kick returner. Like, let's be honest. Like, as soon as Byron Baldwin smacked him, I knew it was gonna be a long day. Like, you remember those old Georgia teams when they come in when they went back to back? Those kickoff units, some of those kickoff units in the Saban era, like, that's what that reminded me of. It's like, oh shit, like they're a different level in that team. Credit to Oregon, they're super young and they're gonna be nasty next year with Dante Moore back. But yeah, they were just at a different level that year from Oregon, and yeah, set the tone, belt the ass, start to finish, and then finish it off with the Natty. Which we just discussed all episode. Like, iconic season. So many memories, so many good times with good friends. Like, that's what it's all about. And that's why I wanted to go to a school on Saturdays that had, a D1 college football team. Relevant, would be on a TV channel, right? Like, not on University of Montana, where they're going to be on ESPN Plus most of the year, even though they're really good. Like, had to go to a big state school to go watch football on Saturdays, and to have that, I got everything I ever wanted. And the national championship almost feels just like a cherry on top, because it really is. It's not the journey, it's not the destination, it's not the destination, it's not the journey, it's the people along the way, isn't it? Yeah, that's couldn't ring more true about this season. Special group of kids to represent our university and provide me and my circle, my friends, whatever you want to call it, with some memories that will just last a lifetime, right? Like, I don't know if I'll ever. My favorite sports team, period, of all time is this Hoosier team. I don't think it'll ever be beaten. I don't think it can. I think it's impossible to like a sports team more than. Like I love I love the Dodgers. Like, I love the Dodgers. Love the Bears. Love the Lakers. Like, this team, like, before this season, I'd say my favorite sports team was the 2009 Lakers that beat the Celtics in 7. The Big Four. That was, to this day, my favorite. This team just blew that out of the water. Like, it's not close. Like, it's not. Like, as much as I love Sasha Vujacic, like, he doesn't compare to Niko Radžić. He just doesn't, It doesn't compare. It's a special season full of just timeless memories that we'll be talking about 40 years from now and looking back on, and who knows how many more national titles, if any, we win moving forward. But we got one, and there's a lot of schools that don't have that, because you could argue, like, shit don't matter pre-98, before there was a national championship game. Like, we're one of the schools that have won in the modern football era. People, like, if we just want to talk big picture, like, as a fan base, like, we're that. Like, we're no one can talk to us. Like, we are. There's only 3 current head coaches right now that have won national titles. It's Signetti, Day, and Smart. That's it. That's the list.
Sweeney?
You're right. 4. Dabo is still employed. Dabo is still employed by the University of Clemson. So I was wrong there. Stat correction. Shout out to the
Live
Pirate.
stat correction. That's what we're known for.
Yeah.
No, it's been a hell of a ride, Brett. But before I so
special.
rudely cut off your story, I was going to talk about the realities of success and some of the things that you see with successful football teams is like, even in the loser of the national championship last year, right? Like Notre Dame's coaching staff got rated. Like Golden ends up moving on to the NFL, and change happens, and great
It's
teams have to
inevitable. Change is
like
inevitable.
if you look at Ohio State, they lost both coordinators. So Indiana's not losing any coordinators, which is massive. They're not losing the head coach. Like this is the culture setters and the really important people in the room aren't going anywhere. But like you're going to lose really talented people that helped put this thing together. Like Derek Owens is one of them. And so like I don't want to like caution anybody to like brace for impact or anything like that. But it's like there are these things that are going to happen that aren't exactly like it's not a fun thing that Owens is no longer with the program, but like
It's
we
not
have
good.
this 20.
He's
We have
probably
this.
the best in the country. So it's like to replace that's going to be a tall task for Signetti, and it's something that he hasn't had to deal with too much. He's only had to deal with Tino Sinceri leaving for a promotion, right? And he replaced it with arguably an upgrade, an NFL level quarterbacks coach that produced a Heisman in his first year at the school, like, and did astronomical things for Mendoza and his development, not just from Cal to Indiana, but just throughout week to week, right? Like, you want to talk about pocket awareness between Iowa and any of the playoff games, like night and day. That you want to compare the Iowa film to the Bama film in terms of pocket awareness and just being able to like know when to run and know when to get out of there and not hold on to the ball too long, like night and day. Unreal development from Chandler Whitmer. So for Signetti, he's been a great eye for talent. He's has a great eye for coaching. A lot of these guys have been with him since the jump. Can he, and maybe a part of that maybe can be held with some caution is that the fact that they have been with him for so long, they've developed with him this whole time. So to bring in new faces isn't necessarily something Signetti's done a whole lot throughout his, run from IUP up to Elon, up to James Madison, up to IU, right? Like it's going to be a new, not saying he doesn't have it, right? But the good news is we just won a national title and the Indiana strength and conditioning coaching job is open and job applications are piling up, I bet. Right? Like I'm sure people want to get over there.
I don't have any inside info on it, but my best guess is that probably gets filled from within. They had a lot of really talented people in that room. I know he took some people with him.
I don't know who Owens took from the staff. I imagine he took some of his guys with him. I know there's probably like a staff of like 6 or 7 people. So like I imagine he takes half of it maybe, and then they'll see who they're able to promote from within or go externally, maybe look at some other programs, see what they're doing, who's doing a lot of good stuff. I'm sure Signetti has a philosophy in terms of what he looks for. Obviously, Owens is a great blueprint. Had to find him somewhere, right? So let's see if he can replicate it. It's easier said than done. It's you can say he's really good at these things, but like he's human, right? Signetti, as great as he is, puts his head and works and does his thing. He's not perfect, right? Like he's just not. Like he is a human. So there is that element that I think people forget. When you get that godlike stature in the eyes of a large fan base, a lot of pressure. I think it's going to be one of the bigger storylines going into the off season, and I think we'll talk about it ad nauseum in terms of that. Like, what does that look like? Is this team going to be at the same level that this team, like, is the 2026 team going to be at the same level as the 2025 team? Owings effect, I think, is going to be a huge narrative going into this next year. And what I'm going to call the 7 months of rat poison, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, me and you are definitely not going to help with that at all because we're going to be heaping praise on all sorts of members of this football team and looking back and looking ahead and all this good stuff. We're not going to, me and you have very purposefully held off on any sort of portal talk, any real talk about the class of 2027, any real conversation that hadn't been circled around this playoff run. And so like the lid comes off. Now we're into the 2026 off season. We're going to talk about it all. looking ahead briefly, is there anything that jumps out to you? I know you just said that this is going to be the Derek Owings effect, and whether or not Indiana can answer that question. But is there anything else that kind of sticks out to you as we launch into the
Yeah, I
offseason?
think we could do a quick run through of the quarterback. Bring in Hoover through the portal. I think that's a huge addition. Would have been great to have Alberto compete for that job and put some pressure on him. But with him and Grant Wilson coming back, I think it's got the possibility, and Cherry potentially coming back onto the roster. I think it has a lot of potential to be another great room, right? Running back, BB coming back from injury, Kobe Martin coming back. He's not in the portal, right? I saw the Kobe
Nope.
Martin portal stuff. That
Nope.
wasn't
No,
real.
no, no. At least unless that happened in the last,
I think people were
do
just saying
not-
that Turbo Richard commitment, I think, threw people through a loop. It's like, guys, we're the number one team in the country. We can have depth. Like Kobe Martin is still he's going to be a redshirt sophomore next year. Like he's not like in the Signetti philosophy where he plays older guys. Like Kobe Martin's still deemed unready. Like he's still like, this is his offseason to maybe like get into that, real game playing time. So that's something we'll talk about going into next year, and what looks to be another strong probably going to bring in, Van Horst is leaving, so they got to bring in a returner. I don't know if Raleek Brown is committed anywhere yet.
He did. He's going to Texas.
It's a good pickup for Sark. There you go. Money. But like the important thing is that this team is going to get their guys in the sense where if guys are going to chase the bag, they're going to chase the bag. You're either in or you're out, right? Like we have our stipend. We have the way we do things. There's the way that we distribute money on this team. And, with the Adidas backing, it's only going to make it better. And the new funding, like all those numbers are going up, and a big uptick after big, shout out Mark Cuban and others. But yeah, the philosophy is not going to change in terms of how they rebuild this roster. You're either in or you're out, and it's not really about the money. It's about, do you want to come here? Do you want to win? Do you want to work hard? Do you want to go play on Sundays? Like that is what we're all about here in Indiana. Do you want to win? You want to go play on Sundays? Can't wait for this upcoming draft, by the way. Can't wait to cover that. Receivers. Cooper's got a big decision. But I think the headliner with that room is Charlie Becker's coming back as a true junior. He's ineligible to leave, so he is forced to come back. I think he would probably be going round 3 if he left this year, which is crazy. And maybe with the youth, in that sense, he might even go higher. I already gave him my first round grade. So fastest player on the team, Charlie Becker. Fun fact.
I think Pons is faster. They said 22, and I'm pretty sure Pons was clocked at 23. But
anyways, but strong room coming back. Tyler Morris coming back from injury. That's going to be awesome. Strong room already. And they brought in Nick Marsh too. So nice little Elijah Surratt replacement.
And they brought in what's his name? Preston. Chaz
Preston from Tulane, a former Bama commit. Like these are guys that were like 4 or 5 stars. Like we're gonna have more 4 or 5 stars on this roster next year. And the difference is between other teams, lots of 4 or 5 stars that they better buy in or else they're not playing. No block, no rock. Like figure it out. I'm gonna trust the evaluation of this coaching staff till I die. So it's whoever they bring in, I'm sure it's gonna be a good fit. If they're not, they're just not gonna play. So it's easy fix, right? So cool there. Tight ends real quick. Looks like they're going super youth with headlined by with Stays, Nowakowski, and Bomba all leaving. Returning 2 scholarship tight ends, both true freshmen, and bringing in a young guy, Brock Schott, through the portal. Definitely going to be a position for him to keep an eye on as we move through, but it looks like they're going youth. And as of right now, Brock Schott is tight end 1. Exciting room. I heard O-line. I heard rumors Carter Smith is returning. Is that true?
The rumors came from Carter Smith himself on the field last night. So we'll see, but he said all signs point to him coming back. That's been the rumor for quite a few weeks too.
So with that, in a team that had 7 starters on this team, if you want to throw in Benson, Mikowski, and Ajani, all the starters, they got 4 starters coming back. Drew Evans, Bray Lynch, Carter Smith, and Ajani are all coming back. They already brought in an O-lineman through the portal. So they got 5 guys already that are ready to go. And it's just about mixing it up. A quick projection, Bray Lynch center, Brunner, the new transfer, probably going to play one of the right guard spot, and then Johnny is probably going to be slotted in a right tackle if I made the depth chart today. That's a great sign for returning starters on this team coming back next year on the O-line. It might be better than this year. Anyways, I'm getting excited. Anyway. D-line, lots on the edges, lots leaving, Wyatt Daly, but we didn't even have them in the playoffs, right? Like crazy, but like that's the reality. Like they're gonna figure out a way. Landino and Tyreek Tucker are coming back, and Dukeway's coming back. A lot to be done in the portal with this D-line. We'll see what they do there to create some of that depth.
They added a lot in the portal.
We talked about 8 playable guys is what we talked about for this D-line going into the last offseason. So see if they are able to create that 2 deep through the portal. Lots of guys on this roster that are chomping at the bit. A lot of Burris, and Burris was getting some tick in the Oregon game, like real actual snaps. Kyler Garcia has always been a guy we've been high on. So those are 2 young guys we should keep an eye on going into next year. They should have an opportunity to play.
Tristan Abram, another name as well.
Tristan Abram is another name to remember. 96 in your program. We'll see how those number changes happen in the offseason to see how that's usually a sign of who's going to play, right? Is Abrams wearing 96 right now? If they move him down to 44, he's probably going to get some more tick, isn't he? So actually, it sounds stupid. That's how it works. It's an easy read. When you're not at practices, it's all you got to go off of, right?
I can't believe you spent 3 minutes talking about the defensive line and did not mention the fact that Mikhail Kamara is leaving.
I did say Kamara's leaving. Oh, well, yeah, I think that was obvious. But, yeah, Kamara's leaving. So, big shoes to fill. I think Daly and White are also big shoes to fill. Like, got to figure out an outside pass rush, and we got to bring in some guys to do it.
They brought in 3 edges, I believe, in the portal. The 2 K-State
guys, the Kansas guys, and
and Jacob Burnham or Josh.
Oh my God, we built the Death Star. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Brad, I'm gonna fill. Don't worry, I'm gonna fill you in this week because I know
I haven't been that locked in. I haven't, but now that you're saying
that's why this was supposed to be quick. I didn't realize you were gonna I'm actually more impressed with the fact that you have a semi 2 deep ready, but I was just
it's always in my head, dude. It's always there. Linebacker Jones and Hardy are back. Utzinger's back.
We're not done talking about the 2025 team, Brad. We're gonna do probably next week. We're gonna do just a shout out. Just
here's the thing: we will always talk about these 2025 team. We will always talk about them.
All these dudes deserve individual episodes. Aiden Fisher and D'Angelo Pons and Mikhail Kamara and all these dudes deserve Pat Coogan and Fernando Mendoza. These guys are gonna deserve essays on their own. And so, we'll never be done talking about this team. But sorry, Brad, continue.
Yeah, strong linebacker room coming back, elite linebacker depth. Utzinger, Turner, Jones, and Hardy all played meaningful snaps this year. They're all back, all of them. We lose Fisher, the team captain, big hit. The leadership role, I think the biggest thing for this team as we go into this offseason is a lot of leadership leaving, right? Surratt, Coogan, Mendoza, Kamara, Pons,
Nowakowski.
Nowakowski. Yeah, so many guys leaving. Who's going to step into that role? I think Charlie Becker is a big culture guy. I think he's going to slide right into a captain type role going into this offseason. But who else is going to step up to the plate?
Amari Farrell is another one.
Kalen Black is gone too. Who's going to be the back? Yeah, so that culture, it's got to be maintained, and that's important. Player-led culture, right? Player-run programs. That's what wins. This was a player-run team. That's why they were so good. The best championship teams, Phil Jackson said it himself, the best teams are player-run. They can practice without coaches. They don't need them. They know exactly what to do. The coaches are just there to guide and enforce accountability and set culture. The players enforce it, right? It all comes down to them. I have all the faith in this staff to continue that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to those guys doing it, right? And that's the difference between losing the quarters and winning the championship, right? That's what was the difference between this team and why they won. Special group with the DBs, bringing back Baldwin, bringing back Farrell, bringing back Sharp, losing Moore, Boykin, most likely Pons, Knighton to the portal, Boyd to the portal. A lot of those young DBs that we've had and we've been talking about have a lot of opportunity to make it in that 2 deep. We'll see what they do in the portal as well as they continue. Well, they brought in the Montana State cat. We'll see how he fits in. Should be fun.
Brought in AJ Harris.
Yeah, they brought in AJ Harris, the Penn State starter, and they will continue to build on this room as uber talented DB. The DB room is this podcast's favorite room on the team going into the season, and it has stayed that way. But yeah, bringing back a lot of Farrell and Sharp coming back with and then Byron Baldwin with that year 2 jump. It's looking like a strong room already. AJ Harris, Zachman, I believe they brought in another safety as well. They look to be another strong unit.
Sills, I believe his name is. Yep. Sills.
And then at long snapper, they upgraded that. Langston is leaving, but they brought in a 6'6" long snapper, like straight up NFL body. Crazy. And then they brought in another Australian punter to replace McCarthy. And I believe they brought in a kicker that's going to be in the Frankie role as well. But they also have Quinn Warren, Taylor, and Radicic are all coming back. So specialists look strong early on. I think there's a lot of work that will still be done in the portal. But yeah, can't wait to break down this roster and cover it. And winter workouts are in 2 weeks, so we gotta get cracking at it, huh?
Yes, we do, Brad. And as always, we are presented by FanDuel naturally. Shout out to the chat, which has been rocking. EJ said the Illinois game felt like the first big win at Memorial in prime time. Where did we watch the game? Brad watched it at Sluggers. I watched it right here. You can't see it, but there's a TV to my right. Sports Talk with Austin says, congrats, fellas. What a story and moment in history. Enjoy. And yeah, we'll be talking portal. We'll be talking offseason additions. We'll be talking recruiting. We'll be talking coaching staff. We'll be recapping it all. We'll be bringing on guests. It's the offseason, right? And it feels like a lot of people are ready to turn their attention away from football. But this is Indiana Hoosiers Live at the Voice of College Football. Like, there is no offseason here. So we'll always be
there is never an offseason at the Voice of College Football. We're keep cracking. What's nice is that we're only going to be 1 episode a week now, which is good for my schedule a little bit. Tuesday nights won't change. That's our day. That's how we're going to do it. Yeah, I cannot wait to break down and get cracking again, because I'm not satisfied either, and I can't wait to cover this team as hard as this team prepares in the offseason. It's all about these winter workouts and the spring ball. Like, that is so important. Those are like free opportunities to get better before you go into fall camp. Can't say it enough. I'll do the whole spiel every year, like I do every year, and talk about how important camps are. And that is winter championships are won, right there in the camps. Winter workouts. It starts there, and we got it in 2 weeks. And yeah, and a new team will be born, a brand new team. Maybe some stragglers from last year coming in and staying for the ride, but for the most, it's going to be a brand new team, just like it will be every year moving forward. Whether we bring back a quarterback or not, it's a new team. And yeah, my heart rate during the game peaked at 130.
I can't believe you know that. That's hilarious.
I have Apple Watch.
Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football.
I'm not done. Brandon didn't see. We have 5 starters coming. We probably need some more O-line depth for sure. We'll probably add some guys. We'll see. But yeah, I believe there's plenty of roster spots. I'll break it down and see how many scholarships we have left. It's going to be, with no spring portal, we're going to have to fill them all, right, going into the next season. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to be younger than we were this year. I think that's going to be something that will need to be said. But once I break it down, we'll know. We'll know more.
I love it. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter on the Sigs Inside account, hop on over to YouTube, hit the like button, hit that comment, hop in the comments, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us on Twitter at Indiana VOCFB. You can follow me at Alec Keyser. Follow Brad. He doesn't tweet anything at Bradley_Loomis8. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Like I said, we're on Twitter, all that good stuff. Follow the Voice of College Football. Mark's always doing something. The guys are always doing stuff. If you're fans of other teams, if you just want to see what the other teams are doing, all our channels are awesome. Obviously, Alabama channel is awesome. The Michigan channel is awesome. I was just on the Miami channel. Those guys are great. So great content over at the Voice of College Football. Go check those guys out. Shout out to the boys, Wave, Nick Skrill, Signar. The intro song 1621, the outro song, The Sweet Sound of Butter Symphony. So we shout out to FanDuel. Brad, shout out to you, national champion. You are a national champion, Brad Loomis.
Rose Bowl champion, Peach Bowl champion, national champion, all in 1 year. Indiana going into this year had 6 wins in their history over top 10 teams. They had 6 top 10 wins just this season. Many more on the way. Get excited. This shit is not over, never satisfied. We're going to another offseason, but we'll never, ever, ever forget the special moments that this 2025 team created for me, you, and all of our Hoosier brethren and sisters and all that. And it was just an iconic year. Maybe people were a little late to the ride, but I think from here on out, everyone knows we got to gear up for Saturday game days and lock in for the Hoosiers, as we are now officially a football school.
And I think you said it was a year for growth too. When we took over this channel, it had about 80 subscribers. We're up like 568. I think before the season started, I had about 600 Twitter followers. Now at like 1,500. Like the ride has been unbelievable. The support has been really cool, and to build a little bit of a community has also been really cool. So
love it.
Like I said, this is not the start, or this is not the end. This is the start, and it's really cool to be on this journey. So. We'll be back next week. I'll be back on the channel at some point this week with some cool videos. Until then, your 2025-26 national champion, Indiana Hoosiers football.
Number 1.
Go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers.